So, um, as I've been mentioning, bias still remains bearish for the week. We can see obviously on the daily that we failed to break above this high. There was a nice short opportunity within this range. You can see we formed a high here, and then price swept and made a move to the downside, sweeping this low. I'm personally still looking for a sweep of this low. The recent move to the downside kind of caused relative equal lows there, and there's going to be a lot of liquidity resting below that because obviously people are seeing that as, oh, it's support, we formed a bit of support, but price is obviously failing on a higher time frame. Heading into some moving averages, we've also got, why are you telling me that I can't use moving averages? Why does my PC not like me? Anyway, so we're not going to be able to use moving averages for some weird reason. But basically, for the first time in 2 months, the 9 to 18 MA cross has crossed bearish. And obviously that's quite significant because within those 2 months, psychologically, everyone's been used to buying the dips at each retracement. So I think it's important to kind of gauge how everyone's been thinking psychologically about the market and how their behaviors have been correlating to how they buy and sell. So it's definitely been a buy the dip market the past couple months. We've been pretty lucky. I just do think that at the moment I might get rid of, give me a moment, I'll see whether, wow, nothing likes me. So, yep, bias is bearish. That I'm obviously open to change if we see a momentum shift. At the moment, we're in a clear downtrend. There's no indication of a break of bearish price structure. You can see here, after sweeping this high, we're making lower highs, lower lows, and the ultimate goal is obviously a sweep of this low, and that's where I'll be looking at scaling out of short positions. So the short that I just made was within this fair value gap. You can see that we got entries at the previous fair value gap before the move to the downside when we got the news. War news kind of creates volatility in the markets, but I do think that's only a part of the factor of why we moved down. I don't think it's the main reason we moved down. But so after seeing the fair value gap being respected here and a move down, also I was originally looking for a short entry at the body of this bearish breaker block. So the reason why I was looking for a move there was because breaker blocks have been working well for me, and the reason why they've been working well for me is because, the reason why they work well is because it's a confirmed area of a break-in structure. So if you look here, we had a move down. This is the bullish sort of structure. People would have seen that as a bit of an SSL grab in the uptrend. So we've got the uptrend here, we're moving up, we come down, sweep a bit of sell side liquidity, and we began to move up, but we consolidated here and then had quite an impulsive move down that broke this bullish order block. This was a bullish order block. but then it reverses into a bearish breaker block. And a breaker block is just a break of structure. So this was a bullish structure. This whole structure up here was bullish. This was still bullish, even taking the sell side, because we simply just retested this order block. So this whole uptrend here was still bullish, but then once we broke down below this, the recent bullish order block, that's when we started to change structure bearish. I'm kind of sad that my MAs aren't working. I'm not sure why. My PC isn't liking me today. Maybe it doesn't want me to stream. So I missed the initial entry. It ended up actually tagging the wick instead of the body. I don't tend to look for entries at wicks. I tend to look for bodies. But then we did end up getting, I was looking for a retracement back up into this fair value gap before a move to the downside, and we tagged all our entries, as you can see, and made a move to the downside. I'm not sure why the bot didn't pick up the 62,572 exit. That was our TP1, which we did hit. I've trimmed 50% of the position size on Bitcoin, and stop loss is now at entry. It can definitely go lower than range low, but I'll be taking, there'll only be a 25% moon bag at that stage. I won't be, I'll be scaled out mostly out of the position by then. But so the only time I'll start to kind of consider a bit of a bullish change in structure is if we break above this bearish order block, and then you could kind of consider a retest of it, because it's flipped into a bullish breaker block. So that's a bearish order block, and then it's flipped into a bullish breaker, and then we could consider a bit of a continuation move. But I would like to see moving averages kind of crossing bullish as well. So at the moment, the main goal is to sweep this low, and a general rule of thumb, which kind of was a bit of confluence to why I did take this short setup, was because you can consider early week lows in a bullish environment before potential continuation, and you can also consider early week highs to form in a bearish market environment, and we did see a move to the upside at the start of the week. Moving averages pointed to the downside, so there was confluence to kind of support the idea that we would get another move to the downside at a retracement up. Our optimal trade entry on the fibs lined up with this fair value gap. You can see we mitigated it almost completely, made a move to the downside. So this is a risk-free trade now. We've trimmed 50%. Our stop loss is now at entry. We've made some profits, and the ultimate goal is the sweep of the 58,980 low. But yeah, we can start looking at some altcoin setups. If you want, I can look at some stuff for you guys. I'm not particularly going to be searching for setups myself today, so if you guys have any big time, okay. ZK, sweet. So longs, actually, yeah, okay. We'll take a look at the others. And which alts would you buy spot right now? I bought a little bit of Psy on this dip. Other than that, I've just been buying the bags I already have. I'll start with big time. We'll just go in order actually before I look at Sol. Big time kind of looks like an okay spot buy, to be honest. You've kind of got this area to look at as a potential. Yes, so SEI. I did buy some in spot. There's a lot of activity going on in the ecosystem. A lot of people developing. I actually have a friend developing a lot in the Psi ecosystem, and he's quite bullish on that ecosystem, and he's a very smart dude. So, yeah, I'm bullish on that ecosystem as a whole. They're doing well. There's lots of money flowing into it. So, once we get an old season, I don't see a reason why it won't do well. It's kind of one of the leaders at the moment, along with Sol. But yeah, big time. I wouldn't be trading any leverage on it. I'd just be considering a spot buy. If anything, we could look at. Yeah, I'm not looking at anything on big time. It's kind of apparent the trend it's in. I wouldn't be trading any leverage on it and trying to search for a bottom. If anything, you could consider a spot buy at current price, and obviously look to scale in, because you could also take this low and so you just want to be willing to average into big time. But yeah, if you're bullish on big time, there's no reason why you couldn't grab some spot. Historically, Bitcoin's kind of made moves to the downside pre-halvings, and that's also why um, I'm not under the impression that the news event previous weekend was what specifically caused the move to the downside. I think there were other correlating factors. We'll move on anyway to ZK. So ZK USDT. I wouldn't be trading altcoins too much at the moment. I'd be looking at the larger cap coins, if anything. I wouldn't be looking at the more low cap coins so much. I'll see whether we have a bit more data. That doesn't really show me much. MaxC usually has a bit more. No, it doesn't. Yeah, ZK, dunno. Not much. See whether I can find a bit more data. Get.io maybe. Okay. No. Again, it could just be another spot buy for you. Definitely be willing to average into it. I wouldn't be considering any sort of leverage play on it right now, especially with Bitcoin making a move to the downside. At the moment, I would be looking most at Bitcoin, ETH, and maybe the top 10 altcoin in market cap. In leverage, I'd be looking at those, the more liquid coins. If we have time, let's take a look at an AI coin like FET. Okay, yeah, cool. Good example of something that ran really hard and may have retraced interesting levels on daily or weekly. Yeah, nah, I agree. AI is definitely a sector to be looking at and paying attention to. Most of my bags that have been performing well in spot are AI related. I'm still like 200% up on some of my AI coins, so that's good. Alright, we'll have a look at Sol for a potential long. Big Tower Cruise, the man is interested. Kind of really annoyed my MAs aren't working, because that's part of the puzzle for me with my setups. But anyway, I do think that most MAs are kind of pointing downward and being used as resistance. Um, so it kind of broke above this leg, which you could consider a bit of an internal range like break of structure. Um, I do like to see order blocks being respected after a break of structure though, and we've kind of violated that order block. And there's going to be a lot of liquidity resting here. And that fits my bearish bias as well, so I wouldn't be looking at a long on Sol at the moment, to be honest. Doesn't fit my bias. Order block theory's been violated. The break of structure was not substantial, and then we didn't respect any bullish order flow, so it's not something I'm too interested in as a long at the moment. And I'm quite stubborn with my bias until it's invalidated anyway, so if it doesn't fit my market bias, I'm not looking for longs right now. I'm not looking to try and catch the bottom. Yeah, I would like to see, when I see a break of structure, I like to see bullish order flow being respected. So this order block specifically would have been nice to see, you know, a move to the upside from, so a retracement down, and instead of breaking below it, I would have liked to have seen a nice burst to the upside, and then maybe get in at this breaker block at a retracement. So I would have liked to have seen, I would have probably gotten in at that breaker block and looked for continuation, but we've kind of violated order flow. So to me, buying interest here among larger liquidity providers isn't too high right now. So yeah, there's not much on Sol for me personally. If anything, I'd be looking for the short at this fair value gap. So, and we actually got it. So that fair value gap was tapped into, and we've got to move to the downside. I'd be looking at a target here. If we did pull from this swing impulsive move down to this low, you can kind of see that that would have mitigated, like OTE range would have mitigated that entire fair value gap. And the 0.705, which is our, you know, golden pocket, whatever you want to call it, it lines up well with the fair value gap equilibrium. So you could consider a short from there, but I would keep my stop loss quite tight. I would leave it at around 176.3, because a break above this pocket would be a break of structure, right? You could probably see something like that if we did get a break above that pocket in price. So next we have Doge. We can take a look at Doge for Shell. What the fuck is an object tree? No, it's all good, Theo, man. Sorry I couldn't provide anything more. It just doesn't currently really fit my bias, and I would have liked to have seen bullish order flow be respected after kind of sweeping that structure break, but I would have also liked to have seen a bit more of a sizable move. Like, we kind of only just got above it. I would have liked to have seen something like that, and bullish order flow being respected. It hasn't been, so I'm just gonna Alright, can someone mute Samir, because he's just annoying me. um, we'll go to Doge next. Have a look at the Doge. Yeah, so very similar patterns for me in terms of shorting the rips. Yeah, daily kinda, this order block was violated, and you can see there's relative equal lows. There's definitely liquidity resting below this. So I'd be looking at something like this on Doge. I know it might seem outlandish, but something like that. This was never retested. Swipe that liquidity and head back into some order flow, knock everyone out. It's definitely a time in the market where we've kind of been psychologically fucking trained over the past couple months to just simply buy the dip, buy retracements. But we can see the bullish order flow on high time frames being violated, and moving averages aren't correlating with bullish momentum at the moment. So I know it's hard for a lot of people to short the market at the moment because we've been kind of programmed to buy the dip over the past couple months. Especially new traders have been coming in, and there's a lot of new retail users in the market, and it's the perfect time to kind of sweep everyone out and simply take liquidity and then move on once everyone's been knocked out. So yeah, Doge, if anything, I'd be looking at the 4 hour for a short entry. This fair value gap was a short entry. It's been completely mitigated. There's nothing here for me personally to trade in leverage, so I'm just going to move on. We'll head to, yep, sweet, I'll check all those. Okay, I'll refresh TradingView because fucking Casper and Samira just being pests over it. Hopefully moving averages are working after a refresh. You can see my Wi-Fi is just top notch. No, I'm just joking. Big love to the boys, mate. Please. Nope, it's not working. Awesome. So, yeah, we're just going without moving averages today. That's cool. Hold shift and press refresh. Alright, shift, refresh. Next to the next and back buttons. My brain. No, I did reload. Um, the little circle thing. The circle thingy. Okay. Top left corner. Oh, this motherfucker. Alright, cool. Yeah, no, Samir thought I was gonna fall for that shit, but your boy was an Alt F4 troll back in the day, so. Yeah, no, it's not working. Alright. That's okay, we don't need moving averages anyway. We'll head to, where were we? Psi. Alright, cool. I actually did buy some Psi in spot during this dip. So I'll head to the daily. Obviously, Psi has also, like, everything has broken bullish order flow, which is why I'm looking for shorts at the moment. It lines up with moving averages as well. Even this order block was violated on Psi, but we've had a nice retracement down, and that's why I've began layering in spot. I'm willing to layer in all the way down to here, sort of thing. So fully prepared for that. But yeah, nothing to really trade on leverage on Psi other than if we move, we can see that I would be pulling fibs from here to here. Span them across so you guys get a bit of a better view. I'd be getting an initial entry here. So 0.5827 would be a short entry for me on Psi. And then I'd have layered entries at 0.5970, 0.6137, 0.6305, and I would keep the stop loss above. Oh, okay, let's not do that. Above this high. So obviously we're still macro bullish. My bias is only bearish until invalidated, really. I'm guessing at least throughout this week. So you don't want to be leaving roomy stop losses on shorts, especially we're still in a macro bullish environment. So yeah, if anything, you could consider short entries on Psi throughout this fair value gap. You've got entries there. I won't call it though. It's not something I'm looking at as a pro alert. Let's have a look at FET. Big Arrogant Burger wants to look at LeFet. Oh, we got lots of shit going on here. We'll remove all these. 20 drawings, okay. With the daily first. So obviously we're in a downtrend on FET on the daily, but 4 hour kind of looks like it's broken out of internal range. Bearish market structure. You can kind of, I'd be looking at an entry there. This is if your bias is bullish, by the way. Mine's not bullish, so I won't be looking at a long entry on FET. But you could kind of look for something like that and look for that high to be swept. I would be scaling out of the position almost completely by the time it kind of rises up to this bearish order block. So there's definitely a long opportunity there on FET, but it has to fit your bias. It doesn't fit my bias, so I'm not I won't be looking at that long personally, but all the power to you if your bias is bullish. The setup is valid. You could look for a long entry within that order block, and your stop loss would be below that wick low. So yeah, it's definitely valid. You could look at entering in. Let's move into the hourly. So this was the break. This was kind of the market structure shift. So you can see we broke above it, and then the retracement is the opportunity to enter in a bullish order flow. So the reason why it's valid is because it hasn't broken below that order block. If it has like broken below that order block, it would invalidate bullish order flow. So I'll try and clean this up and give you a bit of a cleaner view. So you've got the market structure shift. This was a bullish order block. So the down close candle, we got to move to the upside. Small retracement. That was the entry into the order block. You can see price moved up, and that's when we got a break. And now we're retracing back down, and this order block hasn't been retested yet, so you could consider price reaching into that and then sweeping a high. You wouldn't want to see this order block violated, so you could even set your stop loss at the body sort of thing, but you can use the wick, the stop loss, whatever you would choose to. You just don't want it to break below that order block, because that would invalidate the entire pocket of bullish order flow. So why is that considered bullish order flow? Is because we formed a nice fat bullish order block here. You can see we got an impulsive move to the upside. That's what's formed that bullish order block. Small retracement, retest into that bullish order block, and then we got another impulsive nice move into that bullish order block, which ended up breaking the market structure. Would have liked to have seen price kind of hold this order block, but it didn't. So it doesn't invalidate the entire pocket of bullish order flow, because this one was never retested, and that's a more significant order block, because that's the order block that kind of created the move that broke the market structure. So yeah, FET's a valid long. I would be. So I'll lay out price points for you guys to consider. So 1.9513 down to 1.8899. I'd keep your leverage quite low, and invalidation would be below either the body of this order block or, go away, the wick. So that's up to you guys. Setup's valid. If it fits your bias, go for it. R&DR. Pretty sure R&DR is another AI coin from memory. You can just see everything's kind of broken higher time frame, like bullish order flow. So within this range, we're definitely, seeing more of downtrend action. You can kind of see that the entire range equilibrium is now kind of acting as resistance. We are in discount of the range, which is interesting and something to consider, but don't fight the trend. So with rounder, you can see that order block was tapped almost perfectly. From this high to this low, you can also see that golden pocket 0.705 was the initial tap into the bearish order block. If it fits your bias, there is a long opportunity on RNDR. So you've got this bearish order block. That's a market structure shift. Broke out a bearish order flow. So you would pull your fibs from this low to the high that broke the market structure and look for an entry at 7.935, which is an untapped bullish order block. None of this fits my bias, so I'm not going with it, but it's completely valid. Oh, we did tap into that bullish order block, but I'd be looking at a 0.62 entry at 7.935 and then 7.735. Yeah, so that's definitely a valid long. I'd be looking at your exits being the high here, this high, and then further up to the -2 retracement all the way up to 14, but I'd already be well out of the position by then. So yeah, this is valid. You can play it if you want to, so I'll leave the screen open if you want to set entries. Don't just do it because I said it's valid. If your bias is bearish, simply skip it. Stick to your bias is what I'm trying to say. When should you expect an alt season? So basically once money dries up, people end up, profits have been made on Bitcoin, and people start to get bored of Bitcoin once price starts to slow down. Obviously it's been hitting all-time highs and continuing, so the main interest among investors at the moment is Bitcoin. Once their profits start to dry up and they basically get bored of investing and trading in Bitcoin, that's when their profits and money will start flowing into altcoins, and you'll see more sideways movement on Bitcoin. You want to see a drop in Bitcoin dominance, obviously, but it obviously, I think money flow will be the biggest factor. It tends to be the biggest factor each cycle. People begin taking profits on their Bitcoin bags once Bitcoin kind of runs sideways for a while, and then you see money start to flow into altcoins. So it's mainly just about money flow, in my opinion. So yeah, I'd be expecting. I'm not going to set a time frame. Yeah, obviously post halving, I think people are interested in seeing how Bitcoin behaves post halving. Historically, it's obviously broken all-time highs post halving. So I think the main interest among investors, especially larger liquidity providers, is with Bitcoin at the moment. But that money will start flowing into altcoins once profitability opportunities dry up with Bitcoin. So yeah, let's head down. Okay, I'll look at Caspar for Caspar. My boy's holding almost the entire fucking supply. hate to say it, brother, but we are in a downtrend. um, that would be an area of interest for me to begin buying kind of heavily in spot. So I know that obviously that's not the actual direction it'll go. Obviously it's jagged and it'll stagger its way up, but that's an area I'd be interested in grabbing some spot. Um, from a leveraged play perspective, you can see that we got a fair value gap entry on a short. So this was the early week high retrace. Look, that's almost hit equilibrium of that fair value gap. So when I saw that the 9 to 18 MA had crossed bearish for the first time in 2 months, and we got the added confluence of early week highs, so we started to move up yesterday, and everyone's fucking celebrating and saying, oh, we're back, bears erect, etc. It was just added confluence to simply short the rips. You need to kind of look at things from a technical perspective and kind of block out the noise. This might sound trash, but arrogant or whatever you want to call it, but I don't follow anyone's analysis. I don't read into anyone's analysis or opinions. I kind of just stick to my own guns, and it works. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. I can definitely also be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times. But yeah, so we saw this was the move during the war news, or the substantial news event that caused a bit of a move to the downside. And then you've got the knife catchers that thought they caught the bottom, and we got the early week highs, which is another rule in my trading plan in a bearish market environment, which I had a bearish bias. We tend to see early week highs before another move to the downside throughout the rest of the week. So this was the early week high forming, and your entry would have been inside this fair value gap. So you would have started layering in at 0.13. I always set a entry at equilibrium as well, and then all the way up to the complete fair value gap mitigation. You can also see that we swept buy side liquidity before the move to the downside. So yeah, the target would be a sweep of the 0.1054502 low, which can definitely happen. You can see also added confluence to like this move to the upside. It hasn't respected order flow at all. So you can see there's no real valid order blocks within. It's just choppy. If I see a move to the upside, I like to see a bit more cleaner price action. So nice staggered, and then order block retests instead of trying to catch shit like this. I hope that makes some sort of sense. It's just not respecting any bullish order flow. So yeah, at the moment, just simply look to short rips, in my opinion. Alright, we'll have a look at Ton. I'm gonna have to jump off soon anyway, boys, but we'll have a look at a couple more coins. Ton's gone off. I haven't been watching Ton. But yeah, same same sort of thing. It's just like, look at that crap. It's just, there's no order flow respect. It's basically untradeable unless you want to head into the 5 minutes and just set tight invalidations. Did get a break in local bearish market structure, so you got a break here. I would have been looking, yeah, you could enter in at that order block. I'd keep your stop loss fairly tight. I'd keep it down at 6.2. And yeah, you kind of want to see price holding this area, but it's not, we're not getting a nice reaction from this area, which, you know, I kind of would like to see. You want to see a stronger reaction within order blocks. You don't want to see price kind of crabbing around and kind of lowers the probability for me. You want to see it tap in. It's had multiple chances to tap in here, and there's been no real move to the upside to try and take a high. So to me, it's lower probability, but the setup is there. Just keep your stop. Shit, sorry, bro. I'm just going through the list of. I'm just going through all the comments first. I'm not trying to ignore you, you fucking little sookie la la. You gonna have a cry in the corner over it, or? Where was I? I'm not gonna look at EOS. I just refuse to trade that coin. It's fucking trash. It's boring as. It's one of the dino coins. It will probably have its moment one day. Let's have a quick look. But I just don't trade EOS. It's boring as hell. Every time I've traded it, it's just like, yeah, it made a nice move to the upside, but look at the fucking, it's just disgusting. It's disgusting. And they are beautiful equal lows, so if anything, look to short the rip. Simple with EOS. I'll take a look at Ondo. I really like Ondo. Like that, just I'm not fucking trading that. Like, look at that shit. It's not even. It's disgusting. Ondo. Shit, Ondo looks good. I'm a big fan of Ondo. I hold quite a bit of it in spot. It's still up like 150% or some crap from my entry. I did mention Ondo a few months back in watch lists in my spot bag post. Pulling from this low to this high. That move to the downside would have given us nice entry points. So you could have definitely pulled from this. Like, hindsight's 2020, but obviously when I pull my fibs for an impulsive range, I want to obviously see a swing low, swing high of the impulse, and then you're just waiting. You're simply waiting. So this is where patience comes in. So you're anticipating a move down to discounted the range, so below the 0.5, and our entries would have been 0.64634, 0.6, 0097, and 0.5559. With that move to the downside, this entire fair value gap was mitigated, and then we got a nice move to the upside. It's actually also broken market structure, bearish market structure. So this is honestly a bullish chart. These would have been awesome entries, obviously, because you it's like a 0.3 move in price. You could have done like a 3 to 5x and made some good money. I'm actually spewing I didn't look at Ondo because I would have made that play. What is going on? Like, I'm just completely locked out of my account or something on... Right, anyway, I'm going to fix that today at some point. I don't know what's happening. So, you could look to get in almost at current price. Well, it's already tapped into it, but I would be looking at an initial entry on Ondo from this block. Let's not include the wick. I don't like wicks. Yeah, so you can see bullish order flow kind of began at this block. Tapped in, nice impulsive move to the upside, retracement now, and then this is the bullish breaker block. So I'd be looking to get into Ondo from 0.83836 initial, which we've already tapped into, but you can always see whether you'll get a re-entry there, all the way down to 0.80333. I would keep your stop loss fairly tight. This doesn't go with my bias, so obviously I'm not playing this, but it's there for you if it fits your bias. Let's continue. Can you check wild, please, if you can, when you're done with Psy, sir? Thanks, motherfucker. Yeah, no worries, bro. WLD USDT. This might be my last one, to be honest. I have some things to do before work today, so why are you even getting me to look at this crap, Samir? Like, it's fucking trash. Nah, it's in a clear downtrend. let's put it that way. But it's just respecting bearish order flow right now. Fair value gap mitigated. I'd be looking at that low being swept. I wouldn't play a short on this though, right now. And there's no supporting long either. Yeah, no, moving on from WLD. Yeah, I can share my fib settings. So let's get the bad boys out. So 0.5 is range equilibrium. So wherever you pull from, you want to be pulling from a swing low to an impulsive swing high. So that's your range, an impulse move. 0.5 is the equilibrium. Anything above equilibrium is premium, and anything below 0.5 is discount. So if your bias is bullish, you want to be looking at buying in below the 0.5, which is the discount, and anything above, if your bias is bearish, you want to be looking at selling, which is premium of the discount. I mean premium of the range. 0.62 is our initial entry. 0.705 is our second entry. 0.79 is the final entry on the fibs. And then you've got minus 0.5, which would be, these are the target fibs. So minus 0.5 would be the initial target. Minus 1 would be the second target. -2 would be our third target, which we would be well out of the position by then anyway. I don't tend to look for anything above -2 because that's considered a swing projection fib. So it's quite a large move. So for example, if I pulled from this high to this low, you could technically actually look for a short at these levels. We're getting a move to the upside right now. You can see the swing projection at -2 is quite substantial. It's so from say 5 down to 3.17. That's a big move, especially on leverage. You'd be making a lot there. There's, even at low leverage. So I'd be well out, just, 75% out, and the target, like the major target, would be the -2 fib. I'll leave this up a bit longer in case you guys want to copy it. So yeah, -1, -0.5, -2 would be the main target fibs, and then you've got 0.5, 0.62, 0.705, 0.79, which are the kind of framework and entry level fibs. So yeah, hopefully that's enough time for you guys to copy them down. If not, I've got this stream recorded so you can refer back to it anyway. Alright guys, looks like I've gone through everything, all the coins you wanted me to look at. Basically, outlook for the week, short the rips. Hopefully I can get moving averages fixed. It would have been nice to have shown you guys the correlation there with the moving averages, but it is what it is. We still got some content out, and yeah, so no worries, Theo, all good, man. Just keep it simple, don't fight the trend. There's no reason to be trying to catch bottoms right now. If you miss it, you miss it. We want to see confirmation. I want to see a break of structure and some bullish order flow being respected before I consider longs. 200 MA and the 9 to 18 MA cross are both the MAs I use. Here they are here. So if you want to use them for yourself, so I've got the double EMA pullback. It's called a buy sell signal, but it's just I don't use it as a buy sell signal. It's just a confluence tool. So you can go into settings. You can obviously go into settings, set it how you want, and then you can put your inputs here. So obviously I've got the 9 to 18. I don't give a shit about the pattern name. I just want to know which one's the 9 MA, which one's 18 MA. With those, I wouldn't be using them on anything other than the 4-hour or the daily. And you want to see them flare out, so you don't want to see them like, I know this might be a bit of a crude depiction, but so if they cross like this, that's not a flare out. You want to see a bit of a wider flare out, and then you might see a price kind of, say for example, if it was bearish, if it's like this, it's kind of indecisive. I wouldn't be using it. I want to see a flare out in the cross to confirm that it's crossed either bearish or bullish. And then yeah, I use the 200 MA as well. If it's trading above price, you could consider it as dynamic resistance. If it's trading below price, you could consider it as some form of support. I only use that on the daily and 4-hour as well. So yeah, they're both the MA indicators I use. If you guys want to use them for yourselves, feel free. And yeah, no worries, guys. Hopefully, you got something out of this. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties that I've had this morning. I'll make sure that's fixed for the next stream. I have to get up early for these streams, so um, I kind of didn't give myself enough time to prepare this morning, which is on me, obviously. But um, yeah, I might do another stream on Friday, uh, better prepared, and maybe go through some more educational stuff, like order flow and where liquidity rests, and important areas, and some of the trading models I use as well. So I do obviously touch on the trading models I use in my streams. I tell you what I do like to see. I tell you what I don't like to see. So hopefully you guys can gain something from that anyway. But I can come up with something more structured as well if that's something you guys would like. Um, so yeah, hopefully you got something out of this. Hope you guys have a good day and night. And I'm out of here.